Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wolves In podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Ryan.
What's up, guys?
And I'm also here with Brandon Correa. He owns Ground Gamer. Before we start, go ahead and hit the subscribe and like button. Follow us on Wolves In House and Instagram on Tactical Inc. So go ahead, Ryan. Let's start with the cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. I feel like I should have said something in the beginning when you introduced me, but here we are.
Well, Brandon, he owns Ground Gamer. So I wanted to start. How'd you get the name Ground Gamer?
Well, it was kind of like a play on words for the most part. I was heavy into video games and obviously jiu-jitsu, and knowing that there's like three pillars of MMA. When I fought MMA in my early 20s, there's striking, wrestling, and then ground game. So then I came up with the name Ground Gamer versus anything else, with just the fact that I like jiu-jitsu and I like video games, so
Yeah.
I was like the two things that.
So where'd
Makes
you
sense.
where'd you grow up at, though? Can you give us a little bit of a history?
So I grew up mainly in Newark, California, but I kind of bounced all over California just because of my parents were never married, and so my mom was from San Jose. We grew up in that area, or she grew up in that area, and then my dad was in the military as civil service, and then kind of bounced around. When Bill Clinton shut down the Alameda County base, he was transferred to Coronado Island in San Diego, so I spent some time over there as well.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
That's wow.
It's nice down there.
Yeah, second favorite place to live for sure, San
Hell
Diego.
Well,
Sweet.
when you were a kid, were you into martial arts?
Yeah, so my mom early on had my brother and I in Kung Fu. We didn't get very far in Kung Fu. I think we didn't get past the first sash or whatever color it was. We were super, super young. Like
How old were you?
I would say maybe 10, 11 years old. Like the guy would come to our house and
Yeah.
teach us in the living room. And we learn the
Dang, getting privates.
Yeah.
Dang, that's legit.
Yeah, it was like I don't know, a treat for us. But
Yeah.
at that age, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go play Ninja Turtle back in time video
Yeah.
games. You know what I mean? But then as I got a little older in the high school, I got into Kaiju Kempo, and then I started training more in that style. I ended up getting a black belt in Kaiju Kempo. And then transition to something a little bit more, I would say, MMA related. After that,
Can you explain what Kaiju Kempo is to people who don't know?
so Kaiju Kempo is a Hawaiian style fighting. They call it the perfect art of dirty street fighting. A lot of it's shots to the groin, shots to the throat, eyes, to end the fight quickly.
Right.
And then there are some grab arts to it. There's some judo, Chinese boxing, Kempo. What is it? Yeah, just kind of things like that. That basically ends the fight quickly.
Yeah.
You don't want to sit there and exchange, a bunch of punches with somebody.
So with the Kaiju Kempo and then the Kung Fu and your dad, you said it was military, right?
Yeah.
So did that kind of lay the groundwork for your MMA, going into MMA?
No, not really. Because to be honest with you, I only lived with my dad 4 years of my entire life. So when I was in San Diego, really, a lot of it was sports driven. We were not forced, but we were encouraged to play basketball, football. We ran track and field, things like that. My brother and I, we were really forced to do more of the that version of sports. And
Yeah.
So I think we were kind of natural athletes. Between he and I was pretty good at. Not I'm trying to say everything I did, but at that age, I was pretty good. I was, ribboning out at track and field, right? At say second place. And my brother was a close version of me. We're 2 years apart. So when I'm in eighth grade, he's in sixth grade, but he's running like an eighth grader.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So we were very competitive in that spirit, right? So he was able to have that experience of athleticism early because he and I were super competitive with each other, I guess you would say, for the most part.
Yeah. So how did you get into the MMA?
So I got into MMA because of Kaju Kempo. I had got my black belt. We were doing like some in-house sparring, and like I was kind of like traveling or like to different dojos or schools like locally, and learning how the point sparring aspect of competition was. And I felt that, not saying I'm not downplaying point sparring at all, but if you throw a back knuckle at somebody, right, that's a point, right? And like, although like it's not a deadly blow, right, it still stops the match. That person scores, and then you get the reset. I thought that my aggression and my version of martial arts was like Bruce Lee, right? You go in there, you're kicking a bunch of times, right?
Yeah.
Fight to the death. You know what I mean? I want the Kumite version of martial arts, if you will. So I ended up reaching out to one of my buddies, and I was like, hey, I want to get involved in MMA. He was like, come down to Fairtex in Mountain View, and let's see how you fare up with the guys over there. I'm not gonna lie, it was like the most humbling experience I ever had.
Yeah,
Here I come, because I come in there, I have a black belt in Kaju Kempo. I think I'm a striker, right? I'm pretty good. Like I do a lot of sparring in Kaju Kempo, like especially towards the end of like training. Like you.
What year is this?
This is, so when I joined Fairtex, I want to say it was about 2005, 2006.
5, 6, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where Josh, the guy who fought for UFC.
Josh Koscheck?
No, not Koscheck. It's he has a podcast now. I forgot it, but he used to train out the AKA. I'm not sure if he was at Fairtex back then.
Josh McDonald?
No, I have to look him up. But his name is Josh.
Okay.
He used to fight in the UFC. He's fought some pretty big names.
Okay.
But I think he was at a Fairtex, but I'm not sure if he was after you. I know he was at the AK for a while.
So when I got to Fairtex, they had 2 locations. It was one in Mountain View, one in San Francisco. And if you wanted to train with the pros, you had to go to San Francisco. Okay. Because at that time, the Tough House, the Ultimate Fighter House, right? The first coaches were actually out of Fairtex. So John Sonong and Ganya were the first like striking coaches that were in UFC 1. So I didn't know this really at the time when I had got there. I just was just a dumb 20-year-old thinking that I could fight MMA. And my buddy told me this is the place to do it because he was doing jiu-jitsu there. Yeah. And we had to go, I had to travel to San Francisco to get reps in with the pros. And even if you got there, like it was still kind of like invite only. Like you couldn't just show up during the pro training and say, oh, well, I'm Brandon with Fairtex. Like I want to hit pads. Like you had to have like the owner at the time, his name was Anthony Lin, vouch for you to get you to at least have the Muay Thai guys to hold pads for you. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But weren't you guys weren't that gym the one that was holding the Muay Thai fights in downtown San Francisco? I remember like there were during the parades they would have some streets blocked off and have some Thai fights down there. I'm not sure if it was Fairtex.
I want to say, so I don't know that portion of it of what you're talking to. I want to say Fairtex kind of got its like first like national like news because of Alex Gong got shot and killed trying to stop a car thief. Someone stealing his car.
He was a badass fighter, right?
He was, he was well known, but he had passed away long before I had gotten there. But like I had heard the name in passing because of that. And then when my buddy told me that he was training at the sister school at Mountain View, I was like, oh yeah, it's got to be a good place because I already heard of it at that point.
So how hard was it when you first started getting kicks thrown at you? Because I remember those kicks come quick, man. So
the kicks portion of it was definitely different because the Muay Thai stance to a karate stance is so different. Yeah. Right? Because you're really standing sideways in karate and like kind of bouncing like forward and back.
We're being like
where
the
like
Chuck
the
Liddell.
Muay Thai guys are like kind of square and like they're kind of like bouncing in front of you, like but square. So that was hard to adapt to in the beginning. Realizing like what I know now about MMA is like karate there's a reason why karate is not a dominant sport. Like Machida did a great job at like
Chuck Liddell too.
Chuck Liddell but he was kind of different though,
Yeah.
because he is a Kaji Kempo. Like
Yeah.
John Hackelman, like we're from the same lineage of Kaji Kempo. 'Cause
Okay.
There's two versions of Kaji Kempo. There's the Imprado method, and then there's the Gaylord method. And I'm from the Gaylord method. I know it's a funny name, but Charles Gaylord is the lineage that I come from
Yeah.
on that side. And Adrian Imprado, they both are from the Hawaii version that kind of branched off and like had their different versions of the art.
Yeah. My wife's uncle owns a Stellar MMA.
Okay.
Down in
is it Hayward?
there was I think it's Livermore or Pleasanton now.
Livermore?
I think there
Okay.
was one in San Leandro now. But he has the
Yeah.
Kaji Kempo school.
Okay.
Ron and Stellar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Ron.
Yeah.
I know Ron.
Yeah. That's her uncle.
Really?
Ron and DJ. Yeah.
Okay.
It has he's I don't want to be giving a lot of names out, but she's there. I think his daughter is married to Michael Mayday, part of the
Okay.
UFC. Shout out to them.
Okay.
But
Is
they all
it-
have like, I mean, I think Ron and DJ were the ones that are teaching.
Yeah. I
I'm not
think I
sure
know.
what Michael does.
Yeah, I think I know Ron. If this is Ron, I'm thinking of Filipino cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Older gentleman.
Yeah.
Ron and Stellar. Small world, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her
funny.
uncle.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's her uncle.
So I'm from Golden Dragons. Like that's my karate school that I was promoted from. During that time, there was different. I would say like the early like 90s, 2000s. A lot of the Kaji Kempo gyms were like named after dragons.
Yeah.
Crazy Dragons were like Union City. Dragon's Den was out of Union City. What was it? Crazy Dragons were out of Swiss Park in Fremont. And then
Sound like a little
yeah,
hoods.
but they would kind of link up and scrap. Like Eugene Jackson actually used to train.
Yeah,
with-
he's a bad fighter, dude.
yeah, he
You
used
ever
to
heard
train.
Eugene Jackson?
Mm-mm.
Eugene Jackson? Yeah,
The
dude.
Wolf.
I need to get
UFC.
better at my stuff.
His kids are phenomenal fighters. I still follow one of them.
What-
one of them had passed.
What
rest
era
in
was
peace.
that?
Oh, Eugene
For
Jackson was
the-
early 2000s, right?
Yeah,
Early
he was
90s,
2000s.
late
early 2000s. Yeah, like he was like
UFC.
UFC 5
Oh,
Okay.
one hitter quitters, dude. Just
Yeah. from
from
Palo Alto.
Dude,
His
that's
son was awesome too, man. Son Nico. I used to
Nico.
watch a lot of his fights
Yeah.
on YouTube. That guy
Nico
was
and I used to
powerful.
train together.
His brother, I think his brother teaches. I follow him on Instagram. I don't know them personally, but I met Eugene Jackson when I was coaching down in Gilroy, and Robert Valente, he fought for the Squalzat, and
Yeah.
I coached Robert. And afterwards, we were in the Eugene probably doesn't. He meets so many people probably, but we're in the bathroom. We happened to meet Eugene Jackson. He was
Yeah.
like, "Can I take a picture?"
Yeah.
yeah. But it was
Wait,
pretty
you
cool.
asked for
Yeah.
a picture in the bathroom?
Yeah, it was like locker room. Locker room.
All right.
I ain't gonna say I don't get punched by that guy.
I was gonna say you're like dicks out. You're
Oh,
like,
that
hey
guy-
man.
that guy's one hitter quitter, man. Like,
Yeah. So
that's powerful, dude.
uh,
I
so
saw a
he-
picture of him. He was pretty badass.
yeah, he's a bad dude. He so coming up early, like when I moved back to Newark at a young age, it was like my freshman year, I guess. I'm super young, but I had made friends with Nevis Villalobos, which your wife knows Leah.
But yeah.
They grew up together, or went to high school together. Nevis's dad took my brother and I in like early on, like kind of adopted us, if you will. But at that time, we used to go to the video rental store and rent UFC because you couldn't. There was no pay-per-view back then, right?
Yeah.
You had to like go to the video store and go rent the UFC fights and
Yeah.
like watch them that way. And he used to tell me during the Eugene Jackson fights, like, "Oh, I used to work with this guy at Office Depot." And I never believed him, right? Like we were always joking, like, "Nah, I don't believe you," like just joking with him. But deep down inside, I took it, maybe it is true, right? And he's like, "No, I know him. I know we used to work together." Nevis's dad used to say this. Nevis's dad ended up passing away before I actually got to meet Eugene.
Oh man.
Yeah, fuck cancer. But I ended up meeting Eugene because we were at that time I was training MMA, and at Fairtex, Eugene used to bring his crew to train with us. And I probably was like, hey, do you know Lawrence Villalobos? He's like, why does that sound familiar? It's like, he said he used to work together at Office Depot. He's like, oh, Lawrence, yeah, I know Lawrence. And I told him the whole story, and I was like, couldn't believe it. Like, the dude I used to watch on pay-per-view, not pay-per-view, but, rent his videos to see his fights. Actually knows him. He's like, I know. He's like, how's he doing? I'm like, yeah, he passed away. He's like, I'm sorry to hear that. But like, they have that like confirmation, like, and then with like a legend in the UFC like that, it's like, yeah, I know. He's like, I know, dude. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was cool. It was a cool
How
moment.
fun was it to be like growing up in that era, dude? Like it was different than today, right?
Which version? Like
the whole MMA stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
there was like no gyms and places to train, or you're getting your buddies and you're fucking throwing gloves in the back.
So yeah, that era, I feel like it misses, like the part I miss the most is the gym storming in a way, right? Because like there would always be like talking shit about each gym. So like you would like connect with that gym, be like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Right. And then you would go to that gym and spar or fight or whatever. Like I miss that version of it. Like it's kind of like that Viking version of like martial arts. Like it's kind of missing. Now everyone's like, I don't want to say nice to each other, but it's just more respectable. At the end of the day, like it is a martial art, right?
Yeah.
So you want to like grow the sport, and like I think the best part of what's happening now is that it's getting more mainstream. So like you have more people learning about jiu-jitsu or like learning about Muay Thai and having that understanding of what it's really about. It's not just about just being dangerous, but it's just about the mental health of it, the physical attributes that you gain from it, and not just crushing someone's larynx.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a whole different I talk about the other podcast, but I had a whole different experience with Muay Thai. I started when I was 18 at the Boys and Girls Club. It was a boxing club.
Yeah.
And they used to have boxers there, and they had a couple kickboxers, and a guy named Dennis helped train me. And I ended up quitting on him, and then I ended up finding Rock. And Rock was like how you said the other guy was like your Mr. Miyagi. Rock was like he was like a dad to me, man. That guy was like, he took like my dad's place.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking love that guy, but then things happen. But going back to with the whole like the other guy raising you, helping raise your friend's dad, helping raise you, like how did you balance everything? Like I know there's a lot of people going through the same struggles, man, especially kids, and that's what we try to really on here try to talk about, because there's different people watching, especially kids and teenagers really trying to figure out that balance,
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I grew up in a less fortunate household, I guess. My mom worked 2 jobs. She worked the post office during the day, and at night she was like a butcher lady or a butcher shop in Safeway, right? Trying to swing the payments for the rents, the cable, if you will, whatever it was at the time, phone bill. I mean, we didn't have internet. There was no internet back then, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there was, but it was way out of our price range. So my sister kind of raised my brother and I. And what we did was we kind of just went with the flow, I guess you would say, right? We didn't know we were really without, you know what I mean? Until we like went somewhere else and we're like, oh, we don't have that. Or we do things differently, right? Because when your only parent is gone working the whole time and you're just with your siblings, right? There's no family dinners. Like it's like you eat what's there, right? And sometimes my sister would whip up dinner, or we had leftovers, right? I'm not saying my mom was a bad mom. I know she took care of business. She made sure that we were right. There was always food in the house, and we always had clothes. And we never had to worry about, the repo man, you know what I mean? But, I mean, overall, like we just kind of just went through it and just appreciated what we had. And I think that's one of the things that in today's version of life, like when you see the social media, like everyone's highlights, like it's like you compare yourself to that versus like just enjoying what you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you see someone else like on vacation and you wish you're on vacation, versus like you're at work just being happy you got a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
or just happy you're able to provide your kids with a different life now.
Yeah.
Right? Like
exactly.
Provide them totally different. That's how I feel too. like I'm able to provide my kids a whole different life now.
Yeah.
But with like I think it always takes like a strong parent, like that strong parent, like the strong mom to hold it down, you know, or a strong parent to really hold it down. But with the what drove you to like get into, besides MMA, to get into jiu-jitsu? Like where did that path come? Where you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna do jiu-jitsu now.
So that's a funny story. So to go back to my friend that told me to go to Fairtex, because let me just go back a little bit, right? Being a knucklehead in my early like 19s and 20s, my buddy and I literally were sitting down thinking like, what do we do all the time that we're good at that we don't get paid for? We're like, fighting. All the time we would go out to bars, parties, whatever. Something would happen, we scrap, and we were always on the positive side of the scrap. So I'm like, with the martial art background that I had, I was like, let's just venture off and try this. We talked to a mutual buddy. He was like, come to Fairtex, try it out. I'm like, all right. I show up to Fairtex. I walk up to the MMA coach at the time, Leopoldo Sorrell. I was like, I want to fight MMA. I'm like, not even there for like a day, maybe 15 minutes. He was like, oh yeah? I was like, he was like, yeah. Again, I'm 20s. Like, I don't know no better, right? I'm just thinking that I'm going to walk into this gym. I got martial art background. There's no one going to stop me, right? I'm confident. He looks over, he sees like a guy, the same, like he's like downplaying because he had glasses on, but he had glasses on. He was like, hey, Chris.
Well, it's not intimidating, that's for sure.
He was like,
I know what you mean.
He was like, Chris, do a round with this guy, right? So the guy takes his glasses off, puts them in his bag, stands up, and he takes me down. Not even like 15 seconds into the fight, into the round, I guess. I cannot get off my back. He is destroying me with like pepper punches. He's got me mounted. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just drowning in this guy's punches at this point. We restart. He's like, you want to fight MMA? I was like, yeah. I was like,
fuck yeah.
He was like, all right. He grabs another guy out the corner, right? Guy stands up. We go. Same shit happens. He takes me down. I cannot get up for the life of me. I'm just getting pounded. This guy chokes me out like 3 times in like the first minute. I'm pissed. Like I'm ready to like come back and like blow this place up. You know what I mean? Like I'm like feeling real bad about myself, this whole situation. At that point, I swore to myself that this would never happen again. Yeah. So I talked to Leo. I was like, what can I do? He was like, you need jiu-jitsu. Basically what he told me. His verbiage, he's straight from Brazil, from Rio. He's a little more direct. His exact words were, you suck.
Yeah.
Do jiu-jitsu. So for 2 years, I didn't throw a single punch or a kick. Didn't put any gloves on, like just trained jiu-jitsu, and I fell in love with it. Started doing local tournaments and doing, well for the most part. Like, even as a white belt, like I didn't go to a tournament that I didn't place at that point as a white belt, as a young adult. And so then started growing with the sport that way. And that was basically my introduction to jiu-jitsu.
How old were you then? At this time,
I want to say 25, 24, 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good age.
Yeah, better age. A little clearer.
Yeah, I had a better understanding of like my body mechanics, and like what I'm capable of doing, and then understanding more the direction versus like kind of like having that hard-headed like I'm gonna do it how I want to do it.
Right.
The younger version of myself was like, he ain't gonna take me down. You know what I mean? And he'd get taken down and just be drowning in in punches.
So then you stayed with jiu-jitsu from there?
Yeah, I stayed with jiu-jitsu from there all the way till I turned pro in MMA. Like I kept with jujitsu. Obviously, I started with karate, went to with jujitsu, and then started tightening up my Muay Thai with on Fairtex, which from Fairtex. But I had multiple Muay Thai coaches. I had Ping, I had An, I had In, and these are all real names.
Yeah.
So they tried to get me as close as I could be in the Muay Thai realm, but then when it came to MMA, like I really like was so gung ho about just the takedown and submission aspect, the control of it over it versus like the exchange of punches.
Do you think it's like when it comes to striking, it's more like gambling? Whereas with
It can be, yeah.
with like grappling, it's more like you said, there's control, so it's like you have insurance of what you're doing.
Yeah. So I think with Muay Thai boxing, it's a timing thing, right? And sometimes your timing is just a little bit off, right? And sometimes when you throw that jab, their jab just might be coming before you are throwing that jab. Where like with jiu-jitsu, like if you're sinking in that seat belt and you're throwing that bottom hook in, they could try to stop the top hook from coming, but you still have that seatbelt to sink in that choke. So you don't need both hooks in to finish the fight, basically. Where like the jab, if you're throwing that jab and his just coincidentally is just before you, right? You're gonna get hit, your eyes are gonna close, and something else is gonna come behind it. It's just the way jabs are set up.
How did it feel turning pro?
So during that time, like there was no amateur bracket back
Smokers.
when I was there's smokers, but then I was fighting in nightclubs.
Yeah,
So we were doing like pancrations
I remember that
at 415 Grand in San Francisco. Where like it was a ring set up. It was put together by a local gym or a handful of guys that knew what was going on. Like you still see celebrities there. Don't get me wrong. Like when I was competing, like you would be there with the Diaz brothers, Nick and Nate. You would be there with Jake Shields, Gilbert Melendez, and just some like local guys that Dry Faber. Just kind of popping in.
Yeah,
like they had guys like kind of in the fight. So it kind of brought like the best version of the fights out, but there was no camo.
No, there wasn't. Yeah, I remember that
back then. So like we were taking a lot of like shots for free.
Yeah,
and
it was like signing up for free, and
pancreation
was big back then.
Pancreation was big back then, and then obviously you had smokers and you had boxing amateurs that you would do.
I'm just bitter. I never turned pro. That's why. I did a lot of amateur shit about smokers, and that's one thing that always got to me.
I got a question. Like you were saying back how things weren't regulated quite or officiated the same as they are now, right?
Yeah.
Like what kind of stuff would you be able to get away with back then that wouldn't obviously fly nowadays? Like they would just be a regular thing, Like
so. I mean, I would like to say like a lot of the judging was fair, but like there was no repercussions. Like if you did an illegal move, like you're not going to be fined. You're not going to be in trouble. Like
because it was not a point system, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So like one of the fights that I had, one of my amateur fights, I was body slammed, and it was against the rules. We were fighting in a ring. When you're fighting in a ring and when you're fighting in a cage, there are different rule sets because if you do certain tosses and you throw the guy out of the ring, obviously that's not good. Versus that you could do that same toss and he's going to hit the cage. He's not going to fall out of the ring.
Okay.
Right. I was illegally thrown playing by the rule set. You know what I mean? Like whatever. He got me. He threw me, but I was able to take his back. But then the ref stopped it in the middle of like the transition. Was like, hey, you can't do that to the guy. And I'm just like, and I talked to the ref. I was like, why did you stop it? I had his back. And he was just like, and the ref was like, he illegally threw you. I'm just like, but
why
I had
did
his
you
back.
wait?
You know what I mean? Like,
so like looking back, do you think it was just adrenaline? You're moving so fast, or do you think he was kind of being an idiot and fucking lagged a little and
no, he got
pacing
me.
up?
It was a good throw. Like I went to throw a flying
ref
knee.
for interrupting your choke.
Instead
of just coming in earlier.
I think it's just a lack of because it's not an organization that's like well
He's probably
groomed and good
tapping the
together.
guy's shoulder. Should I say something?
I
Like fuck.
I think that if it was like a professional ref,
Right.
he would have been like, just
You're
let
right.
it go. You know what I mean? Like he's got the upper hand, and like maybe just like shouted a warning, like don't do that, because to stop
Yeah,
it and then
like
give him a
something.
warning. Like I understand if I was hurt, like it's like a nut shot, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
if you
yeah.
think of like what's his name,
Maybe like a timeout.
like oh boy, it was like don't like he hit me in the nuts, but I'm good. You know what I mean?
Holloway?
No, the fucking
It was the same fight that was 300, right?
yeah, the 300.
Oh, you're talking about Pereira.
Pereira,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, Correa.
When he got nut shot, right? Like the ref was about to stop it, he's like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah.
It's kind of the same scenario. If you see me taking his back, that's an indication, like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah.
I think back then everyone was still trying to figure shit out, right? Like a little bit more than they
Sure.
are now.
Sure, but again, when you're fighting in these like seedy clubs,
Yeah.
right? The medic is, "Hey, does anyone know CPR?" The guy
Yeah.
goes, "I do." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
We know
That's-
some medic guys, so if we ever do get that MMA event, dude, we
We keep
need
talking
to
about-
actually get like off duty, like legit EMS
I've talked to him
guys.
about it too, about doing something because with their both sponsors. But it's like talk to him about doing the MMA stuff and really bring back the old school style, man.
yeah, the Valley Tudo shit.
Well, I was
Yeah.
wondering too, like ballpark. Is that something we could talk about on here, like cost wise? Like how much would it cost to put on a fucking independent MMA
I
fight?
think we have to go through camo.
in Tracy?
So the real question is, how much does the insurance cost?
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's exactly my question.
because I could tell you like,
Because it's got to be
The
like
cost of
like
the
an injury
cage
of death type shit,
and the
right?
cost of like to rent the place is easy to find.
right?
It's what the county is requiring you to
If
ensure
someone
the
dies
event.
or something.
If someone,
yeah,
breaks an arm, a neck,
right.
you know, what
No,
I mean?
we're
Like,
even talking about like getting athletes, these amateur guys paid, like really paid, not just selling tickets. Like here's your money, you know. Like,
Yeah.
Here's
Well,
$50.
Sounds kind of like
It's-
Wayne stock, but for fighting.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we would get as amateurs, we would get paid off ticket sales too.
Yeah.
like it was a
like
percentage.
couple
Like
bucks.
if the ticket cost $25 to get in, we would
Yeah.
get $5 off that ticket.
Yeah, we got to sell the tickets, right?
You got to sell the
Yeah.
tickets though.
That's what we're
Right.
talking about. Like if they were selling the tickets,
we got to
they'll
get
keep
some
a big
marketing
portion of it.
people.
Yeah.
We got to get some people that sell like I don't even know how. I mean, are nightclubs a thing anymore? That's how removed I am from any of that shit.
No, because
It's not-
what really got
it's-
to me was was when Robert fought in Salinas. It was like 2012, I think. They when we walked him out, they were trying to count the money and how many tickets he sold, and it was like, here's $50. Like, dude,
Yeah.
you know how fucking hard he trained, you know,
$50
for $50,
bucks.
you know, or whatever he paid him. And
Right.
I mean, one day I'll have him on. He'll talk
But-
about it, but he like
Yeah.
fucking busted his ass to get to 180.
That's
you know?
the lifestyle though.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what
and I was
mean?
gonna say you need to pay your guys, but at the same time, you're about to find out how expensive this could be. So like that goes into the business side of things, where I feel like everyone has to be conscious of all of it, right? Like you got to do your shit with your agent to make sure you get paid, or you got to do whatever you got to do to get paid. But at the same time, and you're aware that the business is the business, and they're going to
Right.
do whatever's best for them. And
Right.
it's good when the business side can respect the athlete trying to do it. Like they're never going to agree, but it's nice when they let them talk, because I feel like the NFL is kind of like that. Whenever someone wants a new contract, they're like, okay, like we're not happy you're not at practice, but
Yeah.
we understand if you don't hold out, like,
Yeah.
we could pay you less, like for sure,
Right.
because it's not in our best interest. So
But
it's weird.
That thinking
Well-
out loud as you say that, it kind of makes like a kind of like a good idea for like a local bracket. If you were to have like, kind of like how WWE had like Monday Night Raw, and
Yeah.
then they had like whatever the version of it, right? So if
Yeah.
you had
Yeah.
like two different divisions fighting against each other, but then like now you're trading players, or you're like, it develops a little bit more value, right?
Yeah.
Because now the competitors are like, well, I need to put on a show, right?
Mhm.
Just thinking out loud, but
But for your love for the sport, wouldn't you want to be like also be like a part of this?
For me,
Yeah, well,
me personally,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Well, I'm trying to roll you in. So like,
No, for sure. I would love to be a part of it. As an athlete, probably not so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
especially when we get in our 40s, it's a
only,
little harder.
well, I mean,
Hey, we're definitely gonna need sponsorship. So
yeah, no,
Yeah.
sponsorship, I'm happy to do, especially for like up and coming stuff. Right now, like a lot of my whatever left I got in my body is going towards like IBJJF and ADCC. Like
well,
that's
dude,
like,
yeah, like your future.
yeah.
You can't just.
Yeah.
I just want that.
You want a life.
Well, I want to be able to compete as long as I can,
Mhm.
as long as I'm able to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I want to do it at the high level in the high organizations. You know what I mean, like I'm not talking down on like any of the smaller organizations that exist, but like obviously if you hit the podium at IBJJF or ADCC, like it's a bigger deal
Yeah.
Yeah.
than like if you were to go somewhere else that are not them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
that makes sense.
Let's talk about the ADCC. You have any more questions for that? Or I was
No,
going to
no,
go
no.
into the ADCC stuff. Like, so how'd you get into the ADCC? Because that's pretty badass, dude, to get up into there and to get as high as you got.
So my goal, my dream, like when I first started, was always to do trials. Right? I've watched like trials like throughout my whole life, and like
Real
seeing
quick-
like these.
Real quick for everybody that doesn't know, Brandon's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's competing at the highest levels right now. That's why ADCC.
Yeah, no, I appreciate. Masters level though, so there's that.
hey, man,
Masters lives matter.
That's more
all right?
knowledge.
Yeah.
No, so ADCC last year, it was their first time doing opens. Before, like, if you want to do ADCC, you had to do trials. Like that was it. It was just trials, and then you go to Worlds, and then you compete from there. And it wasn't like how it was today, where like they have an ADCC Open almost every month.
Yeah.
So as soon as the opportunity opened up for the ADC Opens, I was like, I got to do it. I got to see where I'm at. And you see like legends like, Barrett Yoshida, still competing at these things. And he's an ADCC Hall of Famer. And
That's
he's
pretty
still,
sick.
and he's still doing it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, not saying fortunately, I hope one day I do compete against him, right? In the division, like respectfully, you know what I mean?
You guys are
Like,
the same weight?
yeah, we're
Okay.
I would say we're 66 kilograms, and so
Little
he's
call out.
obviously
Actually.
nah. I
No,
respect.
that's
Well, I fought his student last year at IBJJF Worlds
Yeah.
and lost by advantage point. Jonathan McAloy, who is actually a Kajikempo black belt as well, out of
Oh,
Dragon's
shit.
Den.
So you're like, fuck.
So like we have like a very close like proximity of like people that we know, or like circle, if you will. But yeah, he beat me in the finals and took silver at Worlds against him, and it was a good match, I would say overall. It was no real point scored; it was just advantage points that he had got based on the IBJJF rule set. I think in ADCC rule set, it would have been a tougher match.
Yeah.
As far as, because they don't do advantage points in
Yeah.
ADCC. Like you go to overtime, you have to score real points, and then it goes to judge's decision at that point. If
Yeah, I
you
see
don't score
dudes
in
like fucking getting tackled into not even fucking wrestling.
Yeah.
Like they're just getting straight tackled
Yeah.
into like podium or whatever, like the little
Oh, like
desk
getting
and
pushed
shit.
into people.
Yeah, dude, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, they don't stop at
Yeah.
ADCC. Like if you're off the mat, like you have to have a good clean position for them to stop. Like if you're still like transitioning, like you could transition all the way to the lobby. They're not gonna stop it till someone has like good position.
Yeah.
Which I do like about that. The one
It's kind of
argument,
like pro wrestling almost.
a little
They
bit,
let you go
yeah.
backstage and beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, I mean, we could all complain about all the different rule sets. My only complaint about ADCC rule sets, although they are my favorite, is that when you do get into overtime, they stop the match, stand you up, and then go into overtime. Which my humble opinion is, if you are 0-0 and it goes into overtime, you should just shout overtime and let the match continue as it sits.
Yeah,
Because with the rule says as it is in regular time,
right.
there's no points in the first half of the match. So then when the points are implemented, they say points. They don't stop the match, stand you up.
Well,
and
that
say,
makes sense
now
because
points.
one guy's getting rest and the other guy's losing momentum. So, like, for sure that sucks.
Right.
Especially for pacing and a fight, and defense,
right?
and establishing a jab, and
If I'm able to hold dominant position, you're not able to get out of that position I'm holding you in unless the timer runs out. Like, why do you get to stand up and then go again?
What the fuck do you need a break for?
Yeah. That's my only argument. Other than that, it's the best rule set out there because they allow, leg entanglements, reaps, things that are realistic in jiu-jitsu at this point.
I do have two questions for you. My first question is, like, I have no desire to ever compete again, and I fucking hate it. Like, I want a desire to compete again, but I feel like, I don't know, something's just blocking me now. Before, like 20s, 30s, I was all gung-ho. Now I got this fucking huge mental block, and I don't know what it is. I just have no desire to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and I want to get that desire back, but there's just no desire to do it. My desire is just to get as far as I can with jiu-jitsu, and who knows where that goes. But because I've had places I've just kind of left. But what gives you that desire? How do you get that at you being your age to really like want to step in there and just compete still? Like, what's that fire coming from? Because I feel like I lost it. I feel like 2010, 2012 is still back there.
Yeah. It could be the narcissist in me, but I love the thrill of competition.
Yeah.
Like the preparation, especially when they're shouting your name, like it's time to go.
Yeah.
Like I love that. It's my addiction, right?
Yeah.
Like some people have different addictions. Some people love crocheting. You know what I mean? Some people love video games, or whatever it might be. But like when I have a camp and I know that a tournament's coming up, I'm addicted to the process.
Yeah.
Like I love getting ready for it because the feeling that I get, that animal feeling that I get, like when I'm just hitting weights, knowing that I'm hitting weights for a reason versus just hitting weights because I want big biceps.
Yeah.
Right. Or doing crunches because I want abs. Right. I'm doing sit-ups and push-ups because these are going to help me shrimp and choke somebody. Like it's a different.
So your whole training is based on what you're going to fucking do in that tournament. I never thought about it like that, dude.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
I want to be the best version of myself with no excuses.
Yeah.
That's how I'm motivated.
It's almost like an opposite. Like I thought like when I was training like for MMA, it would be like do your sit-ups so when you get punched in the fucking stomach, you're able to take this punch. But it was never thinking like, oh, I'm gonna need this core strength to really fucking crank on a choke,
Yeah.
Because my jiu-jitsu game has never been that great. My wrestling game is a little bit different, but it's always been my stand-up and then wrestling. But my jiu-jitsu game, I fucking suck. Like, I mean, I rolled with you before. In my opinion, I fucking suck. But I don't think about it like that. And maybe I should start thinking about it that way, where if I'm doing the crunches and the workouts, at the gym, now I just work out at the gym just to fucking try to be my age and not get it old, and I think I'm so stuck in here but getting old,
Yeah.
Like,
so first and foremost, I think my jiu-jitsu sucks. Regardless of the fact that the medals that I win or accolades that I might achieve throughout the process. Because if I ever feel complacent about my jiu-jitsu, I've lost what the art's all about, right? It's the ego.
Your jiu-jitsu doesn't suck. I rolled against you and you fucked me up. So your jiu-jitsu doesn't suck, dude. If you roll with this guy, you'll see.
I do love the chess game that jiu-jitsu brings out of me because again, I do play video games, right? So I love the struggle of like trying to figure out things.
Yeah.
That the troubleshooting, if you will. But I never think my jiu-jitsu is better than anybody. I think they either know at least as much as me.
Yeah.
Right? Because what happens is if I think I'm better than them and they tap me and they get me, am I better or worse? Right? But if they know just as much as me or I think I suck, am I terrible at jiu-jitsu or am I just doing jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't look at like, especially training, for example. I don't look at it as an achievement if I tap somebody in the gym, whether they're a brown belt, black belt, It doesn't put me on like a higher level than them, right? They might just had a bad day. They didn't get, 8 hours of sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe they're working on something that I'm not working on, right?
Yeah.
And I tap them. This doesn't make me better or worse than jiu-jitsu. The competitions is where I judge myself,
Yeah.
right? Because now we are competing for a win. Now it matters, right? Like if this, I'm not saying I look at a life or death situation, but it kind of is, right? Like this was like, gladiator situation, and someone has to walk away from this. Is it going to be me or them?
Yeah.
Right. So,
Do you ever think that you would have drived at like wrestling, like D1 level wrestling, if you would have went that route in high school?
if I would have went that route,
Yeah, because you
for
have that
sure.
competition in you, dude. Like that's a fire that's something that people like. I just think you're born with that, bro. Like you're like ever since I met you, like you have been competing, and like I give it to you. That competition is like something that you're just fucking born with, dude. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Like you compete, and you're competing at the highest levels. And
Yeah.
that's fucking awesome, dude. It's amazing.
So at the end of the day, like although I say my jujitsu sucks, like I want to know if it works,
Yeah,
right? Like that's really what the competitions are. How I gauge my jujitsu. Like, does it work?
yeah,
Like, if I'm working on something new or a different position, and I'm only using it in a training ground, does it work? Or if I do it in a competition at a high level, then I know,
yeah,
right? And so I always try to strive for like the version of jujitsu that I offer when I share my knowledge to other jujitsu players, like if it works.
yeah,
Because I'm not going to give them a back take that I failed on 500 times, right? I'm
Yeah.
going to give them a good version of a waiter sweep that I could use 90% of the time.
yeah. But what I feel from you is like, and ever since I've known you, and this is like the truth is that I feel that there's like I've met people who've done jiu-jitsu and who've done MMA and competed, and nothing against those people, but I feel like with you, there's just fire that's still fucking burning. Like a fucking like you don't have a fear, but maybe you
Yeah.
do have fear that we don't see, but it's like you have this fire to compete. That's what I'm saying. Like you have this fire to compete. I've seen people when I've met people like, oh, I just gotta fucking do it. I don't want to fucking do it, but they just
Yeah.
do it. They're forcing themselves. You have like something special where you have this fire to fucking compete, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
just see it in you. I've seen it in you since the day I met you, and that's
Yeah.
why when we first met with the sponsorships and all that shit,
Yeah.
like, that's why I was like, this guy got a fire.
I appreciate what you're saying, and it's very like it's humbling to hear that.
Yeah.
Because my desire to compete is really solely for the gratification for myself,
Yeah.
right, and then for my children as well.
Yeah.
I want them to know that when I do jujitsu, it's because it's a reflection of like the hard work and dedication to something,
Yeah.
not just, I want to choke somebody or I just want to like be badass and win medals and hang them on the wall, right?
Yeah.
It's like the masks don't lie,
Yeah.
right? The time and effort that you put into jujitsu reflect your jujitsu,
Yeah.
right? You could say you do jujitsu, but if you only do jujitsu 2 times a week, every other month, do you really do jujitsu or you
Yeah.
just like jujitsu?
Yeah.
You know
exactly.
what I mean? And so like for me, like I have a 21-year-old, I have an 18-year-old, and I have a 5-year-old. And
Yeah.
all 3 of them are involved in jujitsu some way, shape, or form. And my goal ultimately is to kind of lay that pathway for them to show them like if you dedicate yourself to something that is worth doing, the results are there at the end of the road,
Yeah.
right? And my main goal eventually is to have my own gym.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
And
You deserve
then-
it. Yeah.
thank you. But to have my kids also be involved and instructors and high level jiu-jitsu practitioners as well,
Yeah.
whether they compete or not. Like I don't want to put that pressure on them to compete
Yeah.
because that's a whole nother level of mindset. I want my kids to be smart. I want them to be educated and make good decisions, but I also want them to train jiu-jitsu and be good at it. I don't want them to just think that they have to do jiu-jitsu to compete because I did, but I want my version of technique not the Brandon system or the Correa system of jiu-jitsu, but like just know that we have good quality jiu-jitsu that runs through our family, our lineage, in
Yeah.
a way.
I feel that way with like what I was saying about, your competition, because when it comes to when I work dogs in that canine suit and I go out and I do the seminars and I do all these things, like I get that fire. Like
Yeah.
it's like I don't get that from jiu-jitsu anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I love jiu-jitsu. Don't get me wrong. I just don't get it from MMA or competing at that level.
Yeah.
But when I put that suit on
Yeah.
and I might be nervous, I might have a fucking bad week or whatever because it's only running through my head. Like, but when I put that suit on and it's fucking game time and I see that fucking
Yeah.
beast fucking breathing, it's like, come on, motherfucker. And he wants to bite the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's me and you, baby.
Yeah.
It's go fucking time. And that fire is driving.
Adrenaline's up. Yeah.
Yeah, that driving. But I don't get that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I see
Have
that
you tried
in you.
mushrooms?
We have talked about that.
Microdose? Have you tried microdose in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. But the crazy part is that I'll get that from working these dogs.
Yeah.
I'll get that from working dogs. And dogs fucking hurt when they're coming at you,
Yeah.
But when it comes to competing again, 2012, I left that behind. I think
Yeah.
I just put it behind me, bro.
Yeah.
And it fucking sucks sometimes, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it.
I just don't get that fire. You know what I'm saying?
Teachers, again, my version, my journey is obviously separate from each person, right? So you training the dogs, you
Yeah.
probably get an adrenaline rush,
Yeah, I do.
a dopamine hit, if
Oh,
you
fuck
will,
yeah.
right? When the dog latches on and you have to get them to, you can't control that dog,
No.
right?
Well, I'm trying to control it.
You're
Work
trying
it.
to,
Yeah,
but
work
like,
it as
but
much as
the-
I can.
But
Yeah.
you're working a different side of your brain to
Yeah.
like try to like
Build
get
them
out of
up,
this
yeah.
situation, right? I get that same dopamine hit when I go with a younger athlete that's trying to choke me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't control him
Yeah.
unless I tap him,
Yeah.
right? Like, or he taps, or I tap, and he
Yeah.
lets go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
Well, do you feel like it's like I'm about an inch from death right now? I got to do something. Is that what kicks in when you feel that kid like start flexing and getting?
You get put in some bad positions, right?
I get put in
Especially
some
ADCC.
bad situations. So I'll be honest with you, like I don't look at training as serious as the competitions. I use the training grounds as
Oh,
a place to
exposing, like,
work,
mistakes and shit.
work certain situations. But I'm not gonna lie, when I'm in that bad situation and I'm on the verge of tapping, I am now using every survival instinct that I have to get out of it.
Yeah.
I might have put myself there, but now I'm trying to use every effort that I have to get out of it.
Mhm.
Sometimes I don't get out. I have
Right.
to tap, right? But now I know. Not only do I know, okay, if I do this, I'm going to be put in a bad situation, but I also know what not to do while I'm in this situation because I can't get out of it there. So now I have to,
To avoid
Adjust.
shit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah.
now there are times like I did East Coast trials in New Jersey, Atlantic City. I'll take one.
Okay.
In Atlantic City.
Warming you up here.
I know.
Pre-workout.
Pre-workout. Hey, this is the way.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers, sir.
Where's
Oh,
your
good
guy?
for now.
Are you
All
good?
Oh yeah, all right.
All right.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure on the Ryan.
Peer pressure.
Real quick little break. We have Happy Sack. It's good for your cooling balls, cooling nuts. We had dude powder last week.
Wait, you
But-
said cornhole?
It's Happy Sack Nut Love Cooling Cream. So I'll put this on sometimes before jiu-jitsu. And
On
I just
your
like the way it
sack?
feels sometimes. Happy Sack.
On your nuts?
Eric's
Yeah,
been
I put it
obsessed
on-
with his
yeah,
balls
dude.
for the
Are
last
you
couple
promoting your
weeks.
nuts right
Yeah,
now?
that's how I roll, dude. It's a cooling cream.
All
Your
right.
balls don't get hot.
All right, I believe you.
But I think big guys like what's Derek
Derek
Lewis?
Lewis,
Yeah,
yeah.
our balls get hot, dude.
You-
Maybe
you don't try like powder.
I tried powder. I tried to do powder, but I
Like
tried
powder
this
don't
last
work?
time, and it was fucking.
That's
So I like
huh?
the dew powder because it gives you a nice scent, but Happy Sack it gives you more of a cooling cream. So on your balls, it's gonna really feel good, and then when you get home, it feels like silk, dude. So try
Dude,
it.
he's
I'm
become
telling
like
you.
a snake oil salesman for balls in the last couple weeks. It's crazy. Last week was dude. What was it? Dude.
dew powder.
Dude
powder.
wipes. Oh,
But
Yeah.
now it's what is this?
Happy Sack.
Honey hole.
Now I'm trying different ones. I mean, I think as men, we
Happy
have to take
Sack?
care of our bodies,
for sure.
and
No,
you know,
I'm giving you shit though because this is funny.
I've
this is
never-
for like.
Just trying all these products.
So if your
is
balls
funny.
get hot, this is automatic cooling cream. So if you're rolling and you're fucking like just rolling for hours, your balls
Now,
get hot.
Now we're getting into this, so I got a question. Is this like a menthol cool? Is this like a Vicks cool?
Yeah, what kind
No, it has no scent to it. That's the only thing that
I
sucks.
mean, but feeling. Is it
Oh, the
like
feeling?
a deep
Yeah.
cool?
Deep
Where
cool.
it burns a little?
There was
my
a
wife gives me shit for it too, but I mean,
I forget. There was a powder that I bought. There was a powder I bought on accident that was like a menthol one that was like, you know what I mean? Like before training, you know,
Yeah.
I do powder up.
yeah.
It was I can't remember the name of it
But
though.
you never tried Happy Sack?
Was it like Celsius Blue for your balls?
No, it was
I'll
like,
give you this one. It's a brand new one. I've never tried it.
No, I
Never
don't
touched
know,
it.
bro. You got finger marks in there, bro. I don't trust you, bro.
Is there hair on it?
I don't think, dude. I don't
And that
think.
shit looks like anything close to an index finger, bro. That's just been on your nose.
I shave my shit.
My boy's smooth.
Yeah, smooth.
Um,
It's like his head on top.
Gold Bond. It was Gold Bond. I
Gold
bought a
Bond.
Gold
Oh
Bond.
yeah, Gold Bond has some cooling nuts.
Oh, because that's like hydrocortisone, right, or whatever.
I bought the wrong one, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh, shit.
No, I think this is
I
gonna
put
be
some Gold
big.
Bond in my shit, bro. And my shit was like tingling for like my shit smoked a Newport.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you roll with it like that?
I did.
Oh,
I
dude.
couldn't
It was
take
like
it off,
Vicks
bro.
for your
It is.
balls.
Yeah, because I powdered up like in the bathroom of the gym,
kinda
like just
scary.
like yeah, I take pride in like not being a smelly guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like
Yeah, I try to do that too.
I shower before the gym and then like right before I like, you know, hit a little powder to make sure I'm not like that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've got Bengay on accident on my nuts.
No,
and that shit
don't do
fucking
that.
hurts, dude. Because I've had growing pulls.
See that?
So I put the Bengay and it's fucking whopped.
Yeah, but you're gonna sweat and it's gonna go in a different
It
area.
fucking it tingles, dude. It's like a fire.
Oh damn!
You ever think,
Yeah.
eat that like mint gum and it's like tingling in your mouth? That's how it feels
Yeah,
in your
just shove it
balls.
right up your asshole. Yeah, does that feel good?
No, I think this thing's gonna be huge. These new powders for the balls. I think it's gonna be big.
Transition.
It's gonna be big in the
Like, what's he
jiu-jitsu.
talking
What
about?
is segue?
It's gonna be big in the jiu-jitsu world. A lot of this cooling cream and a
Can I
lot of
see?
dew powders.
Well,
Yeah, that's
look,
amazing.
I'm talking shit, but Happy Sack, get in
Happy
touch
Sack.
with us.
Get in touch with us, Happy Sack. Dude, I'll do a tutorial if they want me to show everyone how to put it on.
You gonna show? Yeah. Oh, see, look, that's got a finger mark in here, bro. That's a deep finger mark in there. You see that?
Oh yeah.
You're
Trying
making me
to
have a
give this
fucking
one
stroke.
away,
Dude.
What did you do to that?
I just smelled it. dude. I just opened
He
and
just
smelled
smelled it with
it.
his nose. He dipped his nose in it.
No, I think it's gonna be a big thing.
Love
Maybe
cooling
Ground Gamer
cream.
can get
Say
on
it has a smell on it.
it.
it. I mean, we all need it, dude.
I'll
I
check
mean,
it out.
It's a Happy Sack
yeah.
smell.
I mean, if you think about it, it really works because you go to Jitsu, you do any type of sports, even baseball, football.
Yeah.
Wearing a cup, your balls are sweaty. Even if you don't wear cup jiu-jitsu or MMA, your balls are sweaty. You don't want to be smelling because all that shit just stays in your nuts. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And you want to be able to
Mhm.
smell good, take a shower, feel fresh, and got the old lady at home and ready to go, and not
Yeah.
just
She ain't gonna let you touch her till you shower, though.
Yeah.
I just put
That's
some
kind
on
of
after-
gnarly.
But you put some on after.
I ain't
the
gonna
game,
lie.
it
I
just gets
stiff arm everybody.
Oh yeah, me
After
too. I want to
after-
get to the shower.
After I get home
Yeah.
from the gym,
Yeah.
everyone gets a stiff arm. My
Yeah.
5-year-old like, Daddy. I'm like,
I know.
Yeah,
You're like,
no,
don't
no,
hurt
no,
me.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're like,
Good
I
staff,
smell like
dude.
other people right now.
yeah. I'm like this. I got
Yeah.
sweat on me, and it's not all mine.
Yeah,
Well,
you
imagine
know.
if they did come up with a powder that just stopped staph infection. How much everybody would wear it.
Yeah, but then people would shower less because we're sick, fucking lazy fucks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? People just need to be hygienic.
Yeah,
Like
This
I
is
say,
true.
I'm with the products, but it should never replace hygiene.
yeah, I know, I get
You
it.
know,
Yeah.
but that's not what you're saying. I know.
Well, like we don't have a shower at the gym, but I go to the restroom after we roll.
It'd be nice
And
if
I
we
throw
had.
fucking soap on me.
yeah.
I throw soap on my hair, my face.
Well, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like Josue, he always washes his hands. Like
Yeah.
I always douche him with the hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
But like I mean, you need soap and water after
How many times
that.
have you rolled with someone that just got bad hygiene, or bad breath,
Too many times.
or bad breath?
Sometimes breath though is like it's hard to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
That
can
was
actually
a-
tap
with
from breath
that.
though.
You can. You know what I mean? Or you could just
That is bad.
transition. I'll
Yeah,
go
north,
for
south.
I'll go for a lang entanglement.
Yeah.
Get their shit far away from me.
My brother
But
used to
I-
do the 6 o'clock class.
But sometimes, like it's they can't avoid it. It's just
Yeah, I chew gum because I don't
Yeah.
want to be that guy.
But some gyms don't allow gum on
Yeah,
the
I
mats,
know, I
right?
know.
They'll make you
Hopefully
do
they don't
push-ups
ban
and
that.
shit.
Yeah,
I don't think you're supposed to do it.
yeah. I throw
You
gum.
know,
I used
just
to
when
throw
you're-
gum in my mouthpiece during MMA.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is though with bad breath, like some people that are aware of it, they'll Listerine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And Listerine will give you cotton mouth during rolls,
Yeah.
and like
Oh,
The
really?
fluoride probably.
yeah, because the alcohol in it will dry your mouth out,
Yeah.
right? And so those guys won't give you good rolls because then they'll be huffing and puffing. They need water, and then they're
Imagine how many tournaments you'd win if you just didn't brush your teeth for like 2 weeks. And you just go to a tournament.
I know they need to start checking those. They check nails. They
I think
check
you get worse
everything else.
I think
They're
you just
go
have a
ahead, blow.
worse issue of having bad dental like problems in the next 6 months.
Yeah,
and you'd have to
probably.
pay like $4,000.
Yeah.
My brother told me he was going to a 6 a.m. class or 5 a.m. class, and it smelled like breath. He was like, I can't do this.
That's
dude.
nasty. You got to brush your teeth before you go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta at
Especially
least
that early in the
try.
morning.
If you at least try, it'll
Yeah.
soften the blow.
Because, dude, what coffee ass morning breath? That's brutal.
Well, I'm around dogs all the time, so I feel like I have to shower before I go to Jitsu, and I have to like change my clothes. My
Yeah,
geese
because
has to
dog
wash.
dander's pretty stinky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people don't
Yeah.
wash their geese.
I drive a lot too, so I feel like
Yeah.
I got swamp ass. So I don't really, you know what I mean.
That's where
Yeah.
fucking happy nuts come in, dude. I'm sorry, happy sack.
You know what I mean? I don't want to
Yeah.
replace my showers with fucking nut
Yeah,
cream.
but that's
though.
what I'm saying. you know? Supplemental, right?
You know,
This
that
is
shit
no
feeling like
replacement.
silk, dude. You're like, yeah, man, that shit's silky.
See, but I don't know if I want it
My man's
silky
jerking off
either.
a happy sack, bro. That's the best plug you can get right there. It's good.
But imagine they put a little bit of.
You're all already ready to go.
Yeah, I'm sold, bro.
Imagine they put a little bit of cannabis in that.
Oh yeah, I
Would
mean,
you
but
wear
then
it?
that would double the price.
Would you put it on?
I'm just such a consumer.
Would you wear it?
Oh, I mean, yeah, but you know, like fuck, dude. Like, I could just smoke too. Like,
Yeah,
Your
there's
balls
that.
be healing. You know,
Just
too.
get
Yeah.
high.
I don't want to smoke cream, bro.
yeah, just be dabbing the cream. Oh yeah, dude.
Just dabbing the
Rip
cream.
the cream. Give me a cream
No,
whip,
but
dude.
this is true though. In MMA, and you probably know this. Well, if people come after work and they go train and they get you in a certain move and
Oh,
they're
yeah,
wearing
yeah.
the MMA sweat or the no gi shorts and fucking they smell like they just took a shit. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, no.
and you got butthole in your face,
There's-
and that's where happy.
But I don't know if your
We've
butthole's
talked
ever
about it.
gonna be there. I mean, I'm with you though.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like that's when, as a practitioner, you got to be like, now it's time to breathe out of the mouth. Because you could be north-south for quite a while.
Yeah.
And you don't want to
Good.
give up.
my humble opinion, this is my humble opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Every jiu-jitsu gym, dojo that exists, that when you're doing grappling, should have fucking dude wipes or wet wipes
Yeah.
in there as a refresher, because I don't care how good you wipe, if you ain't using a bidet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you ain't that clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's that. I forget what I saw on the internet where someone was like, if you fell in shit on your face,
Yeah,
would you just wipe it with paper,
Yeah.
or would
Yeah.
you take water and wipe it off?
But yeah,
You
it's
know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah.
Well, we talked about that last week and how it gets stuck. If you put paper up there after, it gets stuck.
Well, but you could dab with a baby wipe.
Throw some baby powder.
See, but then I'm the guy that.
or happy nuts.
But see, then I get, I don't know. I don't want a bunch of shit and gunk down there either. I don't want to make like hush puppies off my balls either. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I just want them dry. I don't want them
I'm
like
just saying, try it
silky.
once. Just try it once. You never know. You
But
might like it.
I gotta be the guy that's going against you, dude. It keeps interesting content.
I'm gonna buy you a bottle, dude.
I'm gonna use it right in front of you.
It's the whole bottle. Powder everywhere.
Yeah.
Just leave here, like
Look like an Aerosmith
So
show. and
nasty.
shit, just smoke everywhere.
it's like tell the wife, like, get ready, I'm
Well,
coming home.
What's next for you now? Like, what's next for your your venture in jiu-jitsu?
So right now, mainly just focusing on the brand for the next few months, and
Ground
then
Gamer?
I'm looking, the Ground Gamer brand.
you got some guys you're sponsoring and
Yeah,
want to get them.
I have a handful of guys that I'm sponsoring. Kurt Truehill is who we call Player One.
Okay.
Again, so the whole version of Ground Gamer is like a play on words, right? So he is officially Player One. So
They're
like,
your first sponsor.
yeah,
Your first what? Okay.
so I want to make sure that he gets the exposure that he needs. The guy trains hard every day.
Yeah.
You know, I
How did
see
that
it.
happen? You guys met or you guys trained together?
So I met him obviously through the open mats at JG,
Okay.
and then I see him competing a bunch at Arte Suave, and then I just see the drive, right?
Yeah.
Like you could see like a lot of these guys that are struggling.
Young guys, right? These are pretty young guys, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're struggling with like sponsorships,
Yeah.
right? But they're good at jujitsu, right? They're not getting the exposure that they need, but they are good at jujitsu and they're putting in the work. He is a blue belt by definition, but the guy
His game's up.
Yeah, he's better than the average blue belt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I was happy to jump on board and like get him sponsored.
There's just some guys that are naturally gifted that way, even jiu-jitsu,
just
right?
natural athletes,
Yeah.
just in general. And then I got another guy. He's Andrew Toasty,
Oh yeah.
which I met through you.
Yeah, I actually trained Andrew when he was like 15 in kickboxing MMA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I personally haven't seen him compete, but
He's a
based
beast.
on what
He's
you vouched for him, so I was happy
Yeah.
to put that together.
He's with Andog Figueroa, and Andog's out of Gilroy.
Yeah,
Andog's a beast himself. He's fought a lot of fights. That guy. I used to train with that guy in his garage. He
Yeah.
was fighting out of Kung's, and
Yeah.
Andog's fought a lot.
Like
dude.
Kung
He's,
Lee?
yeah.
okay.
He was at Ush, and then he
Ush?
started his Ush. Yeah, Ush.
Yeah.
And then he started his own thing. And then we're training out of his garage for a while, and he was bringing all the fighters. We have some sparring events in his garage, close the
Yeah.
garage up, spar.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, Andog was a beast, dude. He's a fucking beast. And he won Golden Gloves. And I think he won it. We got to get him on the podcast, but he won it training in his garage.
yeah.
Training in his garage for Golden Gloves. He won
I'm
Golden
familiar with
Gloves.
Ant Dog's gym. I know he hosts a lot of smokers.
Yeah,
over
he
there
has a
too,
lot of
like Muay Thai
smokers. Very old
smokers and
school.
stuff over there. Yeah,
His brother's fucking awesome. His brother's a really good coach.
yeah.
His older brother. And then he has Brianna. I think she was his niece. She
Yeah.
fought for the UFC. So
Okay.
he's had a couple. It's like in his blood. This is his bloodline to fight, man. Those guys are really good fighters out there. Shout out to
Yeah.
Ant Dog.
So-
Miss you, bro.
I got another guy, Anthony Marzon, Professor Marzon. He's out of Warwick Jiu-Jitsu in Sacramento.
Oh, Sacramento.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a
What's his
black
name?
belt. Anthony Marzon.
Marzo. Okay.
Yeah. He's like a 145, I believe, competitor.
Oh shit.
So he was one of those guys that reached out to me via Instagram. And what I did was I just kind of looked up his matches and see if he was legit. Because I'm sure, as you know, like
Yeah.
you get a lot of people reaching out for sponsorship. And obviously, I wish I could help everyone, but I
Yeah,
can't.
it's hard.
Right. And so my goal is to help sponsor guys that are competing, but are not getting the exposure that they want.
Yeah.
Right, or they deserve. I get it. There's different versions of competing, and when you're doing it at a higher level, like, not saying that's the only person I'm looking for, because again, Kurt's a blue belt, right? But he's putting in the work. I'm able to watch him. I see him grow. So like that's what makes that more important for me in the sponsorship aspect of it. And then there's another young kid, Caleb, and I'm sorry, Caleb, I forgot your last name, but he's out of Sacramento as well. He's like 15 years old, like
Oh,
a
shit.
young kid, little beast.
That's
I was
crazy.
watching him. He actually competed at Jiu-Jitsu World League. And,
Okay.
it has some very dominant matches, like just the control that this kid has. Like he looks like he's an adult, you know what I mean? Just
Wow.
roughing these young kids up. So it was important.
There's some beast fucking kids out there, dude.
Yeah. So it's important for me to like get involved early
Yeah.
with these kids, especially just because I want them to feel like what they're doing is being watched. It
Yeah.
is being considered at a high level. I get it. The turnaround for a lot of these kids are quick, right? They'll burn out.
Yeah.
Sometimes these kids are doing jujitsu only because their parents want them
Yeah.
to do jujitsu, right? And so they do it. They might
Yeah.
be good at it, but then once they hit 18, 19, right? They don't want to do jujitsu no more. They want to do other things.
Yeah.
They want to go be teenagers. So during the time that they're at this age, if they, want to, rock the gear and feel like they're an athlete, and hopefully it encourages them to stay in a sport and like grow bigger. Because I feel like jiu-jitsu, regardless of where you come from or what age you are, like it opens up so many doors.
Yeah.
Because the hardest thing that you'll do in a day is really jiu-jitsu, if you do jiu-jitsu, right? Like you might have a bad day at work. You might have a bad day,
Every day.
every day, right? But then when you have that,
Fucking Daria.
when you have that guy that's like sitting on your chest and mount, right? You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the
Doesn't-
hardest
all
thing
that
that's going
shit
to
doesn't
happen.
matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite part about jiu-jitsu is that my phone is in my bag.
Yeah.
right? Then
I
I'm
love
on
that
the
part.
mats,
Yeah.
and nothing else matters. Like I'm not
Oh, yeah.
checking my phone. I'm not checking updates. I'm not seeing notifications.
You're just living in the present.
I'm right there. Like
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
favorite part about jujitsu.
How many-
At this age.
How many hours are you training?
So lately, it depends. So usually I'll get about an hour, hour and a half, I would say, of jujitsu daily. Since I've been doing Sunday services with Buffalo Black Brotherhood and JG, like I get multiple, like 2 open mats. I do one at 8 a.m. with them, and that lasts until about 10. And then I'll do another one at 6 p.m. that lasts till about 8.
Okay. So you're going.
on
Where
Sundays.
is the other school at? Is it here?
Buffalo Black
Yeah.
Brotherhood is in Stockton.
Okay.
Yeah. Coach.
They got a lot of good
Kalani.
guys out there, right? In
Oh
Stockton?
man. So they have people come from all over, like the Tri-Valley area, I think is what
Really?
it's called. Tri-Valley.
Wow.
Stockton, Sacramento, Modesto.
So where are you seeing the difference at with are you seeing like more of a new school era? Or are you seeing more of the old school era? Like what are you seeing with jiu-jitsu for your own
It's
personal?
new school for sure,
New school.
which I enjoy
Yeah.
because I grew up in the old school era, right?
Yeah.
So like now I'm having the new school version of it. My old school tricks are still working, but the new school tricks I'm getting caught in,
Yeah.
right? So it's a good balance for me,
Yeah.
right? So I'm able to get someone with a cross collar choke where like someone's able to like sink me in with inside Senkaku.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like now I'm defending things differently because there's a guy that's really good at leg entanglements where I grew up, leg entanglements were kind of taboo,
Yeah.
right? Straight ankle locks and knee bars is basically it. Now you're looking at inside heel hooks, bear traps, things like that.
One of your buddies also trains, right? One of your good friends, Silva.
Benji, Benji Silva.
He's really good, huh?
Yeah, shout out to Benji. That's my brother from another mother.
Shout out.
Man,
Yeah, I seen some of his videos, dude. He's a beast, dude.
So honestly, like all of my ADCCs, IBJJF, like accolades, like the medals that I've won was having Benji in my corner.
yeah.
Like not taking away from anyone like that I've trained with that helped me along the way, but having someone like Benji in my corner with the knowledge that he has is so high level of jiu-jitsu, like hearing him like shout out moves or like plays or what I need to do has really helped me like tremendously during the matches. Like having a good corner is a big deal. Like I know people that go out and compete, they don't have a corner. Like I don't need a corner, I just go out and compete.
Yeah, I've done that. It sucks.
It does,
Yeah.
but it also doesn't. There's a development aspect of it
I had my
too
friend
as
do it.
well. But like having someone that's like so high level that sees the match from an outside view, because when you're in the shit, right? Like you see what you see and you feel what you feel in that moment.
Yeah.
But he can see what the other person's leg is doing or trying to set up or whatever it might be. And Benji literally has helped me win every single like high level medal that when I won Worlds in 2022 as a purple belt, he was in my corner. He refed every single match of mine, or not ref, but cornered me every single match of mine. And I hear him loud and clear. And I really don't think I would have won those matches without him.
Yeah.
Real talk. And Benji and I we were white belts together. That's how far back we go.
Fuck.
So,
That's a long time, huh?
yeah. Yeah.
That's
Well, he's a black
long-
belt now. He's about to open up his own gym, True Movement. I'll be with him tomorrow, training with him. I try to get out there at least once a week. My schedule's been a little bad, I guess, getting with him. I haven't trained with him in the last 3 weeks just because I celebrated my birthday on April 29th.
Happy birthday, dude.
Happy
Thanks,
birthday,
bro.
man.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
And so I was traveling a little bit for that, and so I haven't been able to connect with them and train with them. But usually every Thursdays, Palo Alto, True Movement, Benji Silva System. It's my boy. It's my dog, my brother. I'm with him, and I owe a lot of my success to him. Like without him, and giving me the motivation, because honestly, like when the ADCC Opens came up, I wasn't even considering doing them. He was like, bro, let's go.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? And he competed
yeah.
at those same ones too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think the first one we did was Orange County together. Yeah, the first one we did together was Orange County. I ended up taking silver. I think he took third, but he had 8 matches and 7 submissions or something like that. Something ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were calling him the Limb Reaper that weekend. Like,
well, if I ever get my balls back, I'm gonna call you guys to coach me in the corner.
Well, next time you put the happy sack on it, you know what I mean? You'll find them and then just come through. You know what I mean?
When I get my balls back, man. You have anything you want to ask me?
Oh yeah, I always ask weird questions. Like they're weird, quirky questions. But if you could live inside any fictional universe for a year, but you had to take on the job of the main character's sidekick, which universe would you choose?
I would probably go with Bruce Willis's character in Fifth Element.
Oh shit! Nice. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, it is with the girl. What is that? That one?
Mila Jovovich.
Singing?
Corbin Dallas.
Yeah.
I would probably take on Corbin Dallas. I would take like the ex-military cab driver vibe. You know what I mean? Like,
dang, that's a good one.
That would probably be me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is why I like asking these questions, because you find out how people think, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't watch that movie forever.
I think I would be Corbin Dallas. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, he's a badass, but he also like just wants to be humble and just chill and do his thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like Chris Tucker was in that, right?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
creepy. He was like almost like a drag queen.
Oh, yeah.
Ruby Red.
Yeah, Ruby Red.
Sexy Red. That's what she ripped him off.
Oh, get it sexy.
I got a question.
Shit. No, go for it.
So just imagine this, okay? I like to do these questions.
All right.
All right. Close your eyes if you have to. No.
I don't trust you with the nuts.
Yeah, I was going to say that cream better not move.
Hey, you want to try those mushrooms now? No. So if you had a chance, let's just say you're walking out, UFC calls you tomorrow after they're hearing this podcast, Brandon, you got to train for this fight. You got 6 months. If you had to choose, and there's fucking Las Vegas, fucking sold out arena, pay-per-view, you're about to take on, and it's happened. A guy from Gilroy, he was fighting amateur, then he turned pro, had a couple pro fights, and then he went and he actually went and fought Chito Vera.
Okay.
Yeah. He fucking was a kid. He fought Chito Vera. I think he lost. I'm pretty sure it was Chito Vera, but he made his debut that way.
Yeah.
So and he just got, I probably called out of nowhere, and I know that kid because he was working at Parks and Recs in Gilroy.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. But so if they called you tomorrow and there was like, fucking Brandon, here's a fight, man.
Yeah.
Couple 100,000 on the line. What song would you choose to walk out in? What song would you choose?
That's funny.
You only got one chance though, because this is the moment, Brandon.
I walked out to every single fight with the same song except for my pro debut, and it was Tupac, "Ambitions as a Rider." The only reason why I didn't walk out to it on my pro debut is because the guy I was fighting picked that song before me.
Oh, dude.
And so apparently I was late after weigh-ins to pick my song. But I would pick "Ambitions as a Rider," Tupac. But if you want to know what the song I had picked as an alternate, it was Jay-Z, "Run This Town."
Oh, that's a good song. That's a good song.
Something about Rihanna's verse where it's like you feel it coming in the air, you know, like
Can we
can't
get you
be
to sing that
scared
for
when it
us?
goes down.
Yeah. Do the whole thing for
No,
us, bro.
I mean, I am Filipino and I do love karaoke, but I need some, you know, the music playing in the background. You want me to get into it? Something. You know what I mean?
What's your and then my last question is, if you had to be a fighting character, what character would it be? Superhero
or video game?
Superhero.
Superhero.
I know a video game. Well, both. Anyone.
So if it was a video game, I personally would like to be E Honda.
Oh, really? The big fucking
Yeah.
Like,
He's hella strong.
That dude.
Yeah, he's strong.
I kind of look like him, huh?
But he's eating good though. You know he's eating good. He's got that sumo vibe, right? So he's he's not starving.
He's eating the rice for
I look
sure.
like him a little bit.
I mean, more like Blanca, I would say.
Some green hair for you or something.
I would say E Honda because, you know, he's eating good and he's slapping bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like that was his move. It's like, ha, 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 ha.
How much rice was that guy eating?
You know he wasn't hungry. You know what I mean? The worst part about competition is starving. To be honest with you. You know what
Oil
I'm saying?
drums of rice.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, dang. Thanks. Blanca's actually a compliment, dude. I used to like that guy.
What about superhero?
Superhero. So my all-time favorite superhero is Superman.
Oh yeah.
And it's not a Marvel DC thing. It's more of like the persona, I guess you would say, because Superman's alter ego is Clark Kent.
Mm.
He's always trying to pretend to be normal.
Yeah.
He is Superman. You know what I mean? Like being Superman, he's trying to like disguise that under being a normal person as Clark Kent. So
It's kind of like how you are with Jitsu. It's like, oh, here's this normal guy, and then fucking,
I guess so,
yeah. Here's a neck crank.
But like out of all the superheroes, right? They're all trying to be superheroes,
Yeah.
where he's not trying to be a superhero.
Yeah.
He's just trying to be a regular
Trying to
guy.
fit in.
You know
That's
what I mean?
interesting.
No, but I mean, I even got to thank you, dude. Like we were training one time in at the old gym, you and I at the other gym we were at, and you took my back, and I remember you were telling me like, oh, you're focused on your fucking neck too much or something. You had told me something like that. You probably don't remember, but I remember, and that shit stuck with me to this day. So now every time I take my back, I try not to focus so much on being choked out and trying to really get out of the move.
Yeah.
So it was just, I don't know, it always stuck with me, and I thank you for that, man. It was cool, dude.
No, I appreciate that. I do try to like give like nuggets of wisdom, like in situations that I think that you could get out of.
Yeah,
Sometimes they just tap early because they just don't know, right? You
Yeah.
don't know what you don't know.
yeah,
And so I try to like give little nuggets of wisdom where it's like, look, if I don't have both hooks in, you're in less danger.
yeah.
Right? If I just got your neck and you're tapping, my hooks aren't in, then
I think you had
You-
everything in.
you-
fucked me up, dude.
you might have tapped a little
Yeah,
prematurely.
Yo, go to sleep, bitch. You're like, oh.
Selfishly, I was probably like, bro, you cheated me, bro. I almost had it, bro.
Yeah, man. It was fun training at that place a little bit. Yeah, man. It was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
You any more questions?
Dang. I mean, the walkout question was good. Yeah. What's your post? Last one for me. What's your post like celebratory comp meal or
In and out.
tradition?
In and out.
Nice.
Always In and Out burger.
Yeah.
That's
Three-
a trend so far.
3x3
Yeah.
with chilies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever just go back to eating regular and stop dieting once you stop?
No, not at this point. Because I actually let myself go after competition. Like when I stopped fighting MMA professionally and I was like done, like I let myself go. I got up to like 205 on a
It was
5'4"
dangerous.
frame.
Yeah.
I looked terrible.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, like I thought I was fine. But then when I look back at pictures of myself and like seeing like how I looked, like I was ashamed that I let myself go. And I used to like joke around and say shit like, or not say, but no, me, I'm joking around and just justify it by saying that, oh, have you ever seen a skinny king in the history books? You know what I mean? Like, no fucking king.
Yeah.
I'm fucking or civilian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to like justify the fact that I'm like fat and out of shape.
That'd be a
Yeah.
cool thing to call like those 600-pound people. Like, what's up, fat king? What's up, big king?
He calls
Yeah.
me. He calls me that. He's like, what's up? He just
Eric,
he just
You're
harasses
not
my phone.
Honda. You're fine, dude. You're Blanco. We went over this.
No, actually, when I talked to you about because I keep getting injured, and I talked to you about, I've changed a lot up. I talked to you and shout out to Mike Gianelli about the workouts, and yeah, it was good knowledge, dude. I was powerlifting a lot,
Yeah.
fucking powerlifting, just like fucking whatever. Like I'm talking about some heavy shit,
Yeah.
you know, before, and then now it's like after I talked to you, I kind of stopped
Yeah.
lifting so heavy.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not enough, you know, fucking hard as I can, fucking trying
Yeah.
to really get that power. And I feel now that I stopped within those, it's only been like a week since I talked to you, I feel like a lot better, dude.
So I think that has a lot to do with like how you brought up training, right?
Yeah.
Stronger you are, the better.
Yeah.
That's not normally the case. Because
Yeah.
when the stronger you are, especially muscle wise, you lose a lot of flexibility,
Yeah.
right? Unless you're like those freak athletes that
Yeah.
are like super big and super flexible, which is not a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And so when we talk and you asked about weights, like my weight lifting regimen is all like circuit based, lightweight, as many reps as I can, like throughout that minute. You know what
Yeah.
I mean, like one workout I'll give you for example is I have like a bit of a slope on my driveway. I put an agility ladder where it's like, you know, a nice little slope top to bottom. I get a Bulgarian bag that's about 25 pounds and I jump squat up and down the driveway for 1 whole minute. The goal is to get as many times as I can get up and down in a minute.
Damn.
Right. So I'm like trying to keep that fast twitch motion, that explosive motion, at an older age, and try to like just, I would say, not redefine it, but just keep it defined.
Yeah. It's
right?
almost like a MMA workout, like a hit a little bit.
I would say like a hit, but it's like, it's not like, it's all very specific. Like we do a lot of isometric, plyometric, overcoming isometric movements, right? Like squeezing as long as you can, as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Because in jiu-jitsu, right, you have to squeeze.
Yeah.
Right. And the longer you can squeeze, the better you are, especially in that position.
Yeah.
Right. Because someone's going to give. Something's going to give. Right?
Yeah.
If you got a dominant position, if you got a rear naked, even if you got it across the chin, if you're squeezing as long as you can,
ain't gonna do shit.
they're not going to do nothing.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't train that, right, and you're just squeezing, you get good 10 seconds of squeeze and you let go and you move on.
Yeah.
Where I could squeeze for a whole minute because I trained for that.
Yeah.
I literally get a medicine ball and during my circuit training, I got 10 stations. They're 1 minute long. There's 15-second breaks in between. And one of the stations is I take a medicine ball or slam ball and I squeeze it as hard as I can for 1 whole minute.
Yeah.
That's just my version of it.
No, it works good. That's like the very, very old school way too, right? Some of it.
Some of
Hicks
it,
and Gracie type of squeezing.
I learned it from a guy named Omar Lima, who coincidentally is a JG black belt that teaches in the Aptos location or Atherton location. He and I were like white belts together. He used to have a company or a jiu-jitsu gym. A personal training gym called Functional Core Fitness.
Okay.
That when I was fighting MMA, he was my personal trainer.
Oh, nice.
He was prepping me for my fights.
Oh, hell
Like we used to drive to like Fort Funkston in the beach, and like he would give me a medicine ball. I had to like throw it up this hill and like get it all the way up this hill. Like this guy had me throwing up. Like he's doing all, just feeling real bad about myself. You know what I mean? But like I was well prepared for the fights.
Yeah. All right. Well, dude,
I got a urine though.
Yeah. I know we're about to end right now.
Okay.
You guys take a piss. We're about to end this podcast. Thank you for watching and tuning in. Any shout outs you want to give, or shout outs you want to give real quick to the gyms that you train at?
Yeah. Shout out to Rob Lewis, BJJ Retreat. Thanks for being a supporter of what we do at Ground Gamer. Obviously, Ground Gamer Jiu-Jitsu Society. That's my brand. We're here to help support and bring some of these other athletes that just need a spotlight, if you will. And shout out to JG, Tracy, Alika, Coach Alika. I can't downplay the fact that I got my brown belt from Darcy Lira. Shout out to them. Amasor Vaz, Sensei Amasor, you my boy. Love you forever.
Oops.
And
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. And shout out to Dude Powder and shout out to Happy Sack. Give us sponsorship.
Yep. Ending quote, I'm gonna go with Pink Floyd. It's a lyric from Pink Floyd.
He's holding his piss, so
yeah, I know. And when you lose control, you reap the harvest you have sown. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe.
And we're out.
And that's it. Later.
Have a good night.
Pee-pee time.
All right, cool.